Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our deep dive into professional communication. I am so happy to have you with us today. We're going to be focusing on how to make your work English simple, clear, and really polished. This is the place where we take all that complex professional language and just break it down into easy, repeatable steps for you. So if you're really focused on improving your English for the workplace, moving past those textbook lessons to sound more natural, more confident, you are in exactly the right spot. We call this the native ear channel for a reason. Our whole mission is to train your ear to recognize, understand, and then actually use the English that real native speakers use every day at work, whether that's in a meeting, an email, or, just a quick chat by the coffee machine. But before we really dive in, I have a quick question for you. Do you ever feel a little bit lost when you're reading a long English report? Or maybe you're not sure how to start small talk with a coworker in the morning without it being awkward. Or, and this is a big one, do you worry about giving feedback without sounding too harsh? If you answered yes to any of those, well, this deep dive is specifically for you. Now, if you do find this helpful, please just take a moment right now, like this deep dive, subscribe to the Native Ear channel, and share it with your friends and family so they don't miss out. Your support really helps us bring more of these lessons to you. And speaking of valuable lessons, I am so thrilled to introduce our expert guide today. Our instructor, Jordan, is here to bring that structure and precise analysis to our conversation. You're really going to appreciate the calm, clear way Jordan breaks down every single phrase, making it instantly useful for your real life. Welcome.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here, and I'm really excited to get into this. Our mission today is very focused. We're going to look at a full workplace communication scenario, from reading reports and writing summaries to giving feedback and making small talk. And we're going to carefully analyze the specific English words and sentences so you can start using them right away, speaking slowly and clearly.
I love that focus on practical, instant use. So we have this great scenario that walks us through a typical workday. Let's start with what's often the most challenging part for our listeners: understanding those dense documents. So our first section is all about decoding English reports and summaries. Okay, so let's just start with the reality of it. You're often asked to review English reports, and honestly, they can be long and sometimes a bit boring. It's so easy to feel overwhelmed by them.
It is a very real challenge. And the biggest habit we need to break is thinking you have to translate every single word. The goal isn't just to read the report, it's to get better at reading it faster and understanding the main ideas right away.
Right. If you're translating word for word, you just lose the flow and you waste so much time. We're looking for a shortcut, really. A method that native speakers use almost without thinking.
And there is one. The key is that when you open a report, you do not start reading from the very first word on page 1. That just leads straight to, translation overload. You get exhausted.
Okay, so what is the first step then? What's step A?
Step A is what we call the high-level scan. The very first thing you look for is the title and the headings. Just scan them quickly.
The title and the headings. Why is that the most important first step?
Because it gives you the main idea and the structure immediately. The title tells you the subject, right? Is about sales or customer feedback or something else. And the headings, they show you the flow of the information. You're basically building a mental map of the document before you even read a paragraph.
That makes so much sense. You're seeing the whole forest before you look at any of the trees, so you instantly know where to find the important stuff, like the results or the recommendations.
Precisely. And once you have that map from step A, you move right to step B. We call this one the movie trailer.
The movie trailer. I like that. So what does that mean?
It means you focus on the introduction or the executive summary section. It's just like a movie trailer. It should be short, clear, and tell you the key findings and conclusions of the whole report.
So if you read that part first, the rest of the reading gets much easier. You already know what happened and what the main takeaways are.
Exactly. You can then read with a purpose, focusing only on the parts that are really relevant to you. It's a huge time saver. And it brings us to the actual language inside the report.
Right. So let's analyze some of that key vocabulary for results and actions. When you're scanning, you're looking for words that show data and impact. Let's go through some of them, nice and slow.
Excellent. These 5 words are, well, they're the engine of any report. Let's say them clearly. The first is increase. That means a number went up.
Increase. Got it.
Then you have decrease. That means a number went down.
Decrease.
Then improve. That means the quality got better.
Improve.
Result. This is the final outcome or the finding.
Result.
And finally, trend. This is the general direction something is moving over time.
Trend. Okay, those 5 words they're the bedrock. If you spot those, you're getting the most critical information.
They are very common. But we can go a little deeper. Let's talk about some acronyms you'll see. Acronyms can really stop you in your tracks if you don't know them.
Oh, definitely. Let's do it.
Okay, you'll often see QOQ and YOY. QOQ stands for quarter over quarter. It's comparing now to the last 3 months. YOY is year over year. Compares now to the same time last year.
So that tells you if an increase or decrease is just seasonal or if it's part of a bigger trend.
Exactly. And another big one is KPI. That stands for Key Performance Indicator. It's just a specific measurable goal the company tracks.
So if you see a QOQ increase in KPI performance, they're talking about hitting their goals more this quarter than last quarter. That's a lot of meaning in just a few letters.
It is. Now let's look at a very specific professional phrase, according to the data.
Okay, let's unpack that. What does it really mean?
It's a formal way of saying, based on the information. It gives authority to what you're about to say. It signals that this isn't your opinion. It's a fact from the report.
So it's like citing your source professionally.
That's a perfect way to think about it. It's more polished than saying, the data says.
Let's hear the full example sentence, nice and slow.
According to the data, sales increased by 10%. When you hear that, you know it's an objective fact. Sales went up by 10%.
Now, what about that moment of panic when you hit a word you just don't know?
Ah, yes. Overcoming word confusion.
Mm-hmm.
This is where people grab the dictionary, but you don't always need to. We have 2 strategies.
What's the first one?
Strategy 1 is context. You have to look at the sentence around the word, read the whole sentence, and maybe the one before and after it. You can often guess the meaning.
So if the paragraph is about a big problem with shipping and I see a word I don't know, I can probably guess it's a negative word related to a delay or an error.
You're absolutely right. You can get to 80 or 90% understanding just from the context. Let's try it. Imagine a report says, our second quarter performance saw a significant deterioration. And then the overall throughput for the quarter declined sharply.
Okay, so if things decline sharply, then deterioration must mean something bad, like it got worse.
Correct. And if performance got worse, throughput must be about how much work was getting done, the output.
Right, so you can figure it out without a dictionary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that leads to our second, and maybe most important, strategy, focus. The critical insight here is you don't need to know every word.
That is so hard for learners to accept, but it's so important for speed.
It is. Your professional goal is to understand the main ideas, not to translate the entire document. Focus on the meaning of the paragraph, not every single word. That's the real speed reading shortcut.
It's a huge shift in mindset, from student accuracy to professional efficiency. So now that we know how to read the report, we need to be able to talk about it. This brings us to the next section, the 3-sentence summary secret.
This is such a valuable skill. Why? Because your boss and your coworkers are busy. As the source says, people don't have time to read everything.
And like you said, good professional English is short and clear. This forces you to be concise.
It does. It shows respect for their time. And the structure is so simple to remember. It's just 3 steps. Step 1, write 1 sentence about the topic. Just what is this summary about?
Okay, 1 sentence for the topic.
Step 2, write 1 or 2 sentences about the key results, the most important finding, what happened.
The key results. Got it.
And step 3, add 1 sentence about the next steps. This shows you're thinking ahead. What are we going to do now?
Topic, results, next steps. That's so clean, it's informational, and it's actionable.
Let's practice with that sales report scenario. We're summarizing the report for September.
Okay, let's start with step 1, the topic sentence.
For the topic, you'd write, this report shows the sales performance in September. Simple and clear.
Perfect. Now for step 2, the key result.
Sales increased by 10% compared to August. See? We use that key vocabulary, increased, and the number.
And finally, step 3, the next step.
Next, we plan to expand our marketing campaign. It connects the good result to a future action.
Wow. In just 3 sentences, you've said everything that's essential. Let's try it again with the customer feedback scenario.
Perfect. So we're reporting on feedback for a new app. Step 1, the topic. This report shows customer feedback for the new app.
Step 2, the result. What did the user say?
Most users are happy with the design. That's the main finding.
And step 3, the next step. What's the plan?
Next, we will fix small bugs. It's a practical, achievable step. It shows we're still improving things.
This structure is so powerful. It just works for everything.
It does. And we can make it sound even better, even smoother, by using connecting words.
Right. Words that show the relationship between the ideas.
Exactly. Let's look at 4 key ones. However, also, finally, and in addition. However, is for a contrast. It signals that the next idea is going to be different or maybe a problem.
Okay.
Also, and in addition, are for adding more similar information. And finally is, well, for the last point.
Let's look at that example that uses however and also. It shows a more complex situation. It says, sales went up, however, customer support requests also increased.
See how that works? Sales went up is good news. However, signals that some bad news is coming.
Yeah.
And then also links the increase in support requests to the situation. It shows you understand the whole picture, the good and the bad.
That's really nuanced. It takes your summary from a simple list to a real professional analysis. Okay, so we've covered reading and writing. Now let's move into actual interaction with people. This is where politeness becomes so incredibly important.
It's everything. In English-speaking workplaces, politeness is not optional. It's how you maintain good relationships and make sure your message is actually heard.
So the first question is, how formal do you need to be, especially in an email to your boss?
The answer is a balance. You want to use polite language, but keep it simple. You don't need big, complicated words. You're aiming for friendly professionalism.
Let's look at some of those polite phrases for starting an email update.
Instead of just sending an attachment, you could write, I just wanted to share an update.
That sounds really friendly. I just wanted to, it's very soft.
It is. Or you could say, here's a quick summary of today's progress. Using words like quick and progress shows respect for their time and focuses on the positive.
And what about closing the email? How do you end it politely?
Always end on an open, friendly note. You can say, please let me know if you have any questions.
That word please is so important there.
It is. Or a slightly more informal but still very professional option is, happy to discuss further. That sounds so collaborative. It tells them, my time is available for you if you need it.
Right. It's friendly, respectful, and professional. Now for the really tricky one, the art of giving feedback.
Yes. This is maybe the most sensitive professional skill. You've reviewed a coworker's report, and you see something that needs to be fixed.
You want to help, but you really don't want to hurt their feelings or damage the relationship.
Exactly. The goal is to be nice and polite. And there is one main rule. You never, ever say, this is wrong, or you made a mistake here.
Why is that so bad? It's direct, but if it's wrong, it's wrong.
It's too accusatory. In many English-speaking cultures, that kind of direct criticism can cause the other person to lose face. It feels like a personal attack. We have to use a softer approach.
Okay, but I have to ask. If something is really, truly wrong, doesn't saying, maybe we can change this, sound a little weak? Shouldn't I be more direct to make sure it gets fixed?
That is an excellent question, and it's a common misunderstanding. In professional English, that softness is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of maturity and cultural skill. When you say, maybe we can change this, you're not questioning the need for the change. You're just protecting the relationship so the change can happen easily.
So it's actually a strategy, a strategic way to get what you want, which is a better report.
It is completely strategic. So let's look at 4 key phrases for this soft approach. First, always start with something positive. This part looks great.
So you establish goodwill first.
Then, instead of pointing out the flaw, you offer a suggestion. I think we can make this clearer. Notice, I think. It's your opinion, not a fact.
That is so much better than this is confusing.
It is. Or if something is missing, you can say, we should add more examples. The word we makes it a shared collaborative action.
And what if it needs a big change?
Then you use the softest language you can. Maybe we can change this. That little word maybe is so important. It's not a command. It's an invitation to discuss. It's much, much softer.
So it all comes down to politeness. Being polite is the foundation of getting things done effectively.
It really is.
Okay, we've covered documents and feedback. Now let's move on to the more casual stuff. Small talk. Why is small talk so important? To a lot of learners, it just seems like a waste of time.
That's a common view, but it's not correct. Small talk is essential. It's how you build good relationships. And good relationships make the actual work so much easier.
It builds trust, and it makes it easier to ask for help later.
Exactly. And the rules for small talk are our 3 favorite words: simple, clear, and polite.
Right. This is not the time for big vocabulary. So let's start with the basics. Morning greetings and talking about the weekend.
It's so easy. When you come in, you can just say, good morning, how's everything? Or on a Monday, the classic, how was your weekend?
And the answer should also be simple and positive.
Yes. Something like, Good, thanks, I relaxed at home. Or, it was nice, I watched a movie. You don't need a long story.
But here's the key tip that so many people miss. What do you have to do after you answer?
You have to ask the question back. Always. It shows you're interested in them, too. You just say, how about you? Or even simpler, and you.
If you don't ask back, the conversation just stops. It feels very one-sided.
It does. Now, what about those few minutes right before a meeting starts?
Meeting prep, small talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a great time to talk about the shared situation. You can ask, how's your morning going? Or you can talk about the international language of offices. Coffee. Did you get your coffee yet?
Coffee is always a safe topic. Everyone gets it.
Or you can say something about the shared workload, like, it's really busy today, isn't it?
Isn't it? At the end is great. It's a question tag. It invites them to agree with you easily.
It's perfect for small talk. Now let's talk about compliments. Giving compliments is a simple way to create positive energy in the office.
It really is. It makes people feel appreciated. So how do we praise someone's work?
Keep it simple and specific. For a presentation, you could say, nice work on that presentation.
Yeah.
Or for a report, you did a great job with a report. Short, simple, and very effective.
And what about when someone gives you a compliment? How do you respond politely?
The standard perfect response is, thanks, I appreciate it. The word appreciate is really nice there.
Or there's a slightly warmer phrase you can use.
Yes. You can say, thank you. That means a lot. Yeah. That means a lot. Tells them that their compliment genuinely had a positive impact on you. It's very sincere.
It sounds much more heartfelt than just thanks.
A. Okay, last scenario. Polite refusals. Saying no nicely.
This is so important. Someone invites you to do something after work, but you can't go. You have to say no to the invitation, but yes to the relationship.
How do you do that?
You start with gratitude, then give a simple reason. You can say, thanks for the invite, but I already have plans.
I already have plans. Great, because it's not a rejection of them. It's just that you're busy.
Exactly. And you always, always leave the door open for the future. You end with, maybe next time.
That's the perfect formula. Thanks, but I have plans. Maybe next time.
You've said no, but you've been kind and friendly.
That's exactly right. And with that, we've covered the whole day, right down to saying, good job today, or see you tomorrow. All of these simple phrases are the real vocabulary of daily work English.
It's so clear that professional English isn't about big, fancy words. It's just about being simple, clear, and polite.
Those three things are the secret.
Okay, it is time for our review. We really want you, our listener, to practice these phrases out loud. Repeat them after us, nice and slow. This is how you train your native ear.
Let's start with a phrase from a report. Repeat this. According to the report.
Now, a sentence about results, slowly. Sales increased by 10%.
Great. Now, a sentence about next steps. Next, we plan to improve customer service.
Excellent. Now for a polite email closing. Please let me know if you have any feedback.
Perfect. Now, the soft approach for giving ideas. Maybe we could try another design.
Remember that magic word? Maybe. Now for a compliment. Good job today.
And the perfect way to receive that compliment. Thanks, I appreciate it.
And finally, that simple, friendly goodbye. See you tomorrow.
Wow. We just reviewed the entire professional workday in a few sentences. Every one of those is so useful.
I really think if you practice just this section a few times, you'll start to sound so much more natural. Repetition is the key.
I agree. So let's give you a little challenge to put this into action.
I love it. Okay, here is your daily challenge. Tomorrow, at your work, try to use 3 new English phrases that you learned today.
And pick achievable ones. Maybe say, good job today to a coworker. Or use that polite closing in an email. Please let me know your feedback.
Great ideas. If you practice just a little bit every day, English at work will start to feel completely natural.
It will become second nature.
Well, we've covered so much today. Reading reports, writing summaries, giving feedback, and small talk. That is a lot of essential English.
It is. And the most important thing is that you can use all of it tomorrow.
Absolutely. So just remember, professional English doesn't need big words. It just needs our 3 qualities: simple, clear, and polite. And here's a final thought for you to take with you. Think about a time recently when you struggled to communicate at work. An email that was misunderstood, maybe. Which of those 3 qualities, simple, clear, or polite, was missing? I think you'll find that focusing on making your language simpler and more collaborative often solves the problem.
That's a really powerful thought to end on.
Thank you so much for breaking all of this down so clearly for us.
It was my pleasure.
And to our listeners, we really hope this has given you the phrases you need to feel more confident. Next time, we're going to dive into polite phone calls and messages, another critical skill. So stay tuned to the Native Ear channel, and please keep practicing your English every single day. See you next time. Bye, everyone.